Welcome! Today we're making homemade Korean gochujang paste and sauce completely from scratch. Gochujang is a rich, spicy, and slightly sweet Korean chili paste that's packed with flavor and perfect for marinades, stir-fries, and dips. So grab your ingredients, and let's dive into this step-by-step guide to making authentic gochujang right in your own kitchen. Alright, let's get started with our homemade gochujang paste and sauce. First, grab 1 cup of sweet rice flour and 2 cups of water. This will form our base. We'll also need 1 cup of fermented soybean powder, which gives that deep umami flavor. Now, for the heat, measure out 1.5 cups of Korean red pepper powder, or Gochugaru. This is where the magic happens. Next, sweeten it up with 1.5 cups of barley malt powder and 1.5 cups of rice syrup. Don't forget 1 cup of salt to balance and preserve everything. For the sauce, we'll use half a cup of this paste along with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of honey, and a splash, just 1 teaspoon, of rice vinegar. Add 1 teaspoon of minced garlic and finish with sesame seeds and chopped scallions for that extra pop. And that's it. Let's dive into the cooking. Let's begin by making the sweet rice base. In a large pot, add 1 cup of sweet rice flour and 2 cups of water. Whisk it together until smooth. Make sure there are no lumps. Now place the pot over medium-low heat and stir continuously. We're cooking this into a thick porridge-like consistency, which takes about 10 minutes. Keep stirring so it doesn't stick or burn. Once it's thick and smooth, remove it from the heat and let it cool for about 5 minutes. Now that our sweet rice mixture has cooled slightly, it's time to add the barley malt powder. We need 1.5 cups. Go ahead and sprinkle it in. Stir it gently until it's fully dissolved into the mixture. The barley malt powder adds a natural sweetness and helps with fermentation later, so make sure it's well incorporated. Keep stirring until the mixture is smooth and even. Next, we're building the flavor base with fermented soybean powder, also called Gochugaru. Add 1 cup to the mixture and follow it up with 1 cup of salt. This combination is what gives gochujang its signature savory umami flavor, while the salt helps preserve it during fermentation. Stir everything together slowly until it forms a smooth and slightly grainy texture. It's starting to smell great already. Now, let's move on to adding some heat. Here comes the spice. Measure out 1.5 cups of Korean red pepper powder, or gochugaru. Start adding it gradually, don't dump it all in at once. Stir as you go to make sure it blends evenly into the mixture. This is where the beautiful red color develops, so take your time. If you prefer it milder, you can reduce the amount slightly, but for an authentic kick, stick with the full amount. The texture should be thick, but still stirrable. Now we're ready to add some sweetness. It's time to balance out the heat with some sweetness. Pour in 1.5 cups of rice syrup. This gives the gochujang a glossy texture and a rich sweetness that balances the spice. Stir it in slowly until it's completely mixed. You'll notice the paste becoming shinier and smoother as you go. If you want a slightly thicker texture, you can reduce the syrup a little, but keep stirring until everything is blended perfectly. Now that our paste is ready, transfer it into a clean, sterilized glass jar or earthenware pot. Press it down gently so there are no air pockets. Cover the top with cheesecloth or breathable fabric and secure it with a string or rubber band. Place the jar in a cool, shaded area, somewhere it can sit undisturbed. Stir it once every 1 to 2 days and let it ferment for 1 to 3 months, depending on the weather. Warmer climates speed up the process. Once it's fermented, it's ready for use or storage in the fridge. Now, let's make a quick sauce using this paste. For the sauce, scoop out half a cup of your fresh gochujang paste into a small bowl. Add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of honey, and 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar. Mix it all together until smooth. Next, stir in 1 teaspoon of minced garlic and sprinkle 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame seeds. Finally, toss in 1 tablespoon of chopped scallions for some freshness. Give it a taste. It's spicy, savory, and sweet all at once. Perfect for dipping or stir-frying. Lastly, let's talk about some tips to make sure your gochujang turns out perfect. First, fermentation is key. Keep the paste in a cool, shaded spot and check it every 1 to 2 days. If you see any mold, don't panic. Just scrape it off carefully and stir the paste to keep it fresh. Warmer temperatures will speed up fermentation, so keep an eye on it if you're in a hot climate. Next, spice control. If you prefer a milder flavor, use less gochugaru. You can always add more later if you want extra heat. And if the paste is too thick, add a little water or rice syrup to loosen it up. For the sauce, a splash of soy sauce or vinegar works wonders to adjust the consistency. Finally, storage matters. Once it's fermented, transfer it to the fridge in a sealed container. It can last for 6 months to a year without losing flavor. For the sauce, keep it refrigerated too, and use it within 2 to 3 weeks. And remember, this sauce is super versatile. Use it as a marinade, stir-fry base, or dipping sauce for grilled meats and veggies. That's it. Enjoy your homemade gochujang paste and sauce.